This video is about building computers, something that I enjoy doing. This video is also an example of what happens when you don't go into something with a nice plan and you just kind of start recording all over the place. Let's first check in with Michael back before the computers were built and see how he's doing.
And the reason I'm cramped over here at this table is because my kitchen table, which has a lot more space, is currently covered in computer parts. Something I talked about over the last few videos that I recorded on Saturday that I haven't gotten to editing yet. I ordered a bunch of computer stuff to upgrade, and it's just all over the table over there. And it was a lot easier to just set up here and do the research and instead of dealing with that, because I'd just have to move it and then put it all back until the rest of the parts come in and I get to building. And it'll be good. I'm really excited about that. It's a huge upgrade, and it's just been taunting me. It came in, it was one of the first things that came in. It and the new power supply came in because I have to get an upgraded power supply. Mine's not powerful enough. It came in that first week, and it's just been sitting there taunting me. I look at it from time to time. I take it out of the packaging and look it over, and, it's just been sitting there.
It doesn't bother me at all to have computer parts sitting for upwards of a month, waiting for the last things to come in so that I can begin to build computers. Not at all. But it's all here. I just have to wait through 2 more days of work before I can start building this weekend. It's like getting... Is it more like getting a present that you're allowed to open and see, but not use in any way? Or is it more like buying a Lego set that you have all the pieces for, and you can look and touch the pieces, but you can't start putting them together? Eventually, the time was upon us. Him, Michael. The pure, unadulterated thirst that had been building was finally able to be quenched after clocking out of work on Friday afternoon. But really, Saturday morning is a more optimal time to start a whole weekend project. Friday still has the end of work, the tiredness of a 10-hour day, have to eat dinner. What he did accomplish on Friday was to update the BIOS for the computer that was going to become a gaming computer. Then off to bed, and bright and early Saturday morning, got everything ready and got started. Next step was to get everything all set up. All of the tools where you need them, everything quickly grasped. For a long haul, grab my laptop and headphones so I could be listening to podcasts or videos, whatever. And then it begins. Taking off the side panel, you can see I have a bit of a mess that I've been working with for the last 2 years or so. At some point, I added an SSD and didn't really have room for it, so I just kind of stuck it in there. There's a mess of cables. It's really dusty. It needs to be cleaned. It's not great, but this is the starting point. After a few still images, I started recording with my phone whenever I saw something that was interesting or that I thought would make good footage. I did not really have a plan, as I mentioned before, to do anything with this stuff. I'm just kind of showing the graphics cards here of what was in the computer before, not what will be going into it after. But I think in my head it was just, I'll clip together a little montage. the reveal of the dusty CPU cooler after 2 years of use. It's cleaning time. Immediately putting your hand in front of the camera. Real nice. And you may be asking yourself, why is this suddenly in the bathroom? But the bathroom is pretty far away from where I'm trying to actively work on computers, so it's not right there where the dust is just going to resettle on the components. It also has ventilation, and it's a lot easier to clean up at the end of the day when I just blow all the dust around inside the bathtub. Checking the manual after realizing this particular motherboard does not have a button on the physical board in order to turn it on and off. You need the switch from the case. It'll be around this point when Michael will discover that both of the AMD CPUs he's using for these builds require a graphics card in order to output a signal. They do not have integrated graphics. Now it's time to update the BIOS on the brand new motherboard, because it does not work with the new CPU out of the box. It's all coming together. Two graphics cards? Yes, because of all the inputs to deal with the various monitors. Let's check in with Michael a few days after this.
Well, it's a Monday morning, and I'm still tired. I got a lot of stuff done over the past few days. There. That computer back there, not the laptop. Ignore that. That's a backup in case my computer ever goes down and I still need to work. I built computers this weekend, which was something I talked about repeatedly, as I was very excited. And it went fine. It definitely didn't cause me any problems at all. I started out by recording, there's the other one, which will make more sense when I'm not in a room where all of my computers are right here, as I keep saying. But I started out by doing everything. I got everything set up Friday night. Saturday morning up, I started at 6:30, and I went to bed at 9:30, and I still wasn't done. And then the next day it was from 5:30 until 11:30. So in total, 21 hours building computers, which is fun for the most part. Just headphones on, listening to whatever, YouTubes or podcasts, whatever, and just building, cable managing, etc. I started by recording what I was doing for the work computer, because that was the one that I was putting the least amount of effort into. It required a few things to do, a couple of steps, but then I got that one done and got it set up and went to install Windows 11, and it said, oh, you can't do that. I tried to install Windows 11. I got it booted up, and it was like, nope. Great. Grab my flash drive, go onto the laptop, since I still have a laptop, thankfully. I had disconnected everything else, because I was like, here we go. I got everything ready. I get Windows 10 installed on it, and I go to buy a license. It's like, oh, you want Windows 11? I was like, well, yeah, that was the whole point. I wanted to try and upgrade. But for the most part, like certain things that I don't want to break, this editing computer that I'm sitting in front of, letting it currently process because I'm about to start editing, that I want to keep at 10 because I know everything works on it, and I don't really want to upgrade because if it breaks, what could break would be the apps that I use to, all of the programs and software that I use to edit, and the fact that all of them have just been on 10 the whole time. So I'm not really looking to upgrade that one. Gaming, yeah, I could probably do 11 on that, and I might. It depends on how much I like it. I've tried it on the laptop now. But anyway, my point was, for the one that's at work, I use that one more for just work. It's browser based. I do programming on it, but I should be able to install the programs that I need. For the most part, everything there should work, and that's kind of my testing for real. I use that one more than anything else. I spend 40 hours a week at that computer. If I don't like Windows 11 for some other reason, I've been trying it on my laptop, but I don't use my laptop all the time. That's kind of my testing one. And they're discontinuing service for support for Windows 10 in 2 years, so figure I'd make the upgrade at some point. I don't. Anyway, as you could tell, if you can read what that says, which I know you can't because I'm in focus and not the faraway screen, I get everything set up, I start downloading all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, you want Windows 11? Okay. Yes. I guess from a very fresh install, it's not ready to go straight to Windows 11, and because there are different computing requirements. That doesn't sound good. That sounds like there's something hitting a fan. Whoa. Oh. Man, did I put a cable in a fan? I've done that before. That doesn't sound good. Well, it's slowing down. I don't know if you can hear any of that because I'm wearing a mic here. I highly doubt it. Anyway, that's, I'm going to cut together something with that stuff. Like I said, I kind of did the first one because that was just new motherboard, which is bigger. I got a smaller motherboard when I originally built that work computer. So new motherboard that's bigger can fit the 2 graphics cards so I can get all of my various monitors because I have 6 currently for work. I like having a lot of monitors. It's not the most ideal setup, but I'm just kind of working with it. I'd like to rearrange the monitors in a different place. Anyway, that's not important. Point is, I recorded a lot of what I was doing. I had to swap processors in order to update a BIOS, in order to do things like that. And I just recorded. I didn't talk because I just put on my headphones and I was walking through that stuff. But I was recording the footage, and if it comes together, then cool. I'll put something up and maybe talk over it and do a whole video. I'm not going to edit that today because I got a lot of things in the backlog now to get through. So I'm not really worried about it. Why are all the screens? Do something. Anyway, I did that, and then I moved on to the next 2 computers where I stopped really recording a lot of stuff because I did not want to. I had an idea for some work, some didn't, but part of this was upgrading down the line. Could you not make that noise? I really don't care for that. Part of that was to upgrade each one of the computers and to do it for more of a final. I can't foresee any further upgrades anytime soon. Whereas before it was like, well, if I take the time to cable manage everything now, I'm just going to crack it open again, next month in order to fix it and do something different. There it goes. It's still working on updates. This was more of a take the time, do it right, get everything done, and also upgrade a few things and change the design a bit, because that's part of it for me. I like building, I like customizing, and I really like the ability to come up with ideas of things that look neat. I like creating in that way. I've always enjoyed being able to customize something, the colors, the functionality, give it a theme. And I had a whole theme that didn't, some of it worked out and some of it didn't. But anyway, what I did was after I finished building those, I set them up on a table space over there with a cloth backdrop so I could just get the photos and video, which hopefully will come out. I was just doing everything on my phone, and it's really hard to get clear footage of a dark object with the lights from the RGB lighting and whatnot. But anyway.
Remember when I said this wasn't the best way to go about showing anything on camera, or piecing together a coherent story, I guess would be another way to phrase that? It's an interesting choice Michael's made here to not actually talk about what the design was going to be before showing this computer. So here's some images of the editing computer that I tried to take.
One thing that didn't really work, let's spin this around. So this, yeah, you can't really even, if I focus on it, you can tell a little bit. Maybe I'll just cut this in after the footage explaining what's going on. I don't know. This will probably be part of the video with the computers. But, hey, stay focused on, I don't know. There's a lot of white. It's a white case. It's got a lot of white cables, and then I did kind of a white and red with the colors. It looks much better to the human eye than it does on camera, honestly. I don't know if I could get a different camera with more functional settings in order to play with it to get better footage of it. And it's also under the desk now, but I was so tired. I ran into some issues. I mean, the first day being, 15 or 16 hours. There we go, booting into Windows 11. And let me grab something. So anyway, I was coming up with designs over the last month since I decided to order computer parts and waiting for everything to come in because a lot of stuff was on back order, especially the nice case. And then the motherboard. I had a really hard time getting a motherboard. It gave me a lot of time to go, okay, well, what's the budget and how much can I spend and what can I get and things like that. So I was able to get some different lighting and things like that. And it gave me an idea for a theme. And one theme came together beforehand. That's the one I was just showing you, the editing computer. I'm going to use it to edit. I'm going to use it to edit my photos. I'm going to use it to edit video. It's going to be mostly for editing and then playing computer games where I need the power of a 3090, or if I sit mouse and keyboard style. The other one will be gaming for like a TV with a controller, or something I can do mouse and keyboard wirelessly, and it won't be too bad. I don't have to be sitting upright in a chair. So the white and red that's inside this computer case that I was just talking about, the entire purpose behind that is because Canon, which is primarily what I've been using this entire time and what I really like, has their L series lens with the red stripe, and especially for the bigger ones, I don't have an actual lens. I have a mug, and this is the 24-105, but it's smaller than the older, and it's also better quality. I don't know why I didn't grab them both. A while ago, I was like, oh, this is neat. I like that kind of stuff. Let me get a 70-200. And while it kind of looks like it, it's really not the best quality. So I thought about it and I went, okay, what else? And I looked at it and I found the 24-105. I was like, I don't care that this lens was never white. I like the design and it's smaller, so it should fit in the case. It doesn't, which is why it's not in there. That was going to be one of the things that I put in there. There were screens, if you saw, from an older phone that I no longer use that I'm now repurposing to just kind of have as a neat display in there, with some images that I worked up with a black and red and white background, and then images that I found online of neighbors. Make sure nobody's trying to come into my apartment, because people do that. They get confused about the numbers and just try to come on in. And then there's maintenance, and there's cleaning people who get confused about which units they're supposed to be cleaning. Anyway, I was going to put that in there as well. I was going to put that mug in there as well to make this the editing computer focused on cameras and using camera parts. I'd love to put a camera in there, and that was another idea I had that I just didn't have time to work on, and I might do in the future, is to actually build out of Lego, because I have plenty of Lego, a little white camera. I really like the white camera aesthetic. I would love to own a white camera. That is purely for looks. I have absolutely no reason to do it. They don't make any of the higher end ones that I would use in a white color scheme, but I like the white, I like the red. It's I replaced. Let's go ahead. I'll sit on the ground and see if I can talk. Oh no, I sneezed. Yeah, though on camera this whole thing just looks, I've also got it going from red to white, so because white doesn't show up quite the best, but there's actually what I thought was cool, replacing this one main fan here. It's got a whole white body, and then the ring itself is just red, so it's white and red. Again, this does not at all show up on camera, but I like it. I really like the way it came together. There's just not enough room for me to put a mug in there safely, so that won't work. Instead, I'll just find a spot to put a mug somewhere in the background. Eventually, if I move, I'll have a better setup for the behind, like a backdrop for the computer stuff, so that when I'm sitting at my computer recording while I'm editing, the backdrop behind me looks better than I mean, that's not bad. I guess they put up a display of some skis. Those look old to me. I don't really know what skis are. I've never been skiing, but anyway. So that was the main thing for the editing computer. The gaming one, I came up with a whole different idea. I had an idea, I started getting it going, and then right towards the end it was like, all right, well, what do I name it? And then suddenly the name clicked with a completely different thing. So I've changed all of that. Is it set up right now? Oh, it is.
Again, kind of an interesting tactic to not explain and just mention that you came up with a new idea without talking about the previous one, even though all of the video and photos you took of the computer were of the previous idea. So orange and teal are pretty much main colors that Michael likes to go with on just about everything, especially here when editing any kind of Photoshop or anything, any text, orange and teal. Why not? So orange and teal was kind of the thought going into it. Something, not just all orange lights instead of a case that's all accented orange on the inside, but with the teal. And then while working on it, discovering that not just teal, but actually what kind of fits in that as well is a bit of purple. So a bright purple, a bright teal, a bright orange, kind of these neon colors. That was a lot of it. And then another idea came along after, but here's what it was when being built. Look at my work over 21 hours. Let's see. So if that shows up, it kind of does. If I focus on one of the brighter lights, it might. No, you can't really see. It won't stay. The camera just keeps trying to auto. But anyway, there's little Minecraft figures in there that I have. And the whole red. It's red and orange. And like these lights are moving. And these lights are moving. And this big bar that you can't see here is moving. What if I lower it? There it is. I tried to get it. I couldn't quite do what I wanted to, so I'm not entirely done with it yet. I did get better on the RAM. See how it's kind of flowing? These characters from Minecraft are located in a place called the Nether, and it's full of lava. So I was trying to go for a lava theme, so I decided that at the last minute. Is that necessary to go over? No, but you know, I put a lot of time and effort into it. It's something that I really enjoy, and so I'm showing it off. I'm very proud of it. I'm really happy with the way the stuff came together. I had a lot of issues getting it built. I was pushing 9 o'clock at night when it was like, all right, let's get the gaming computer, because everything else was kind of more or less done. And I was trying to build up the gaming computer, and I get it done. I'm so tired. And I'm like, let's just turn it on. And then tomorrow we'll start messing with it and seeing
actually how it comes together, and I'll start putting the RGB lights into it. Let's just turn it on, and it wouldn't turn on at all. I don't know what happened. The power supply I was putting into it died. It was the one that came out of this editing computer. So it was working the day before and everything was fine. I don't think that's necessarily what happened, but it could be. I think what actually happened is that case requires power to the case all the time. And most power supplies don't start sending out power to everything until the motherboard is turned on, in my experience, from what I understand. So I think I needed to, because I just couldn't get it to work. I have not tested that power supply another way. Maybe it did just die, but I was able to get that working with a different power supply that I have. So that I just went, all right, cool. I'm glad I have a backup. I needed a backup because I've already had one die at one point, and that was for the work computer, which is, again, how I pay my bills. So it's really important that I have a working computer. So I had to get one quick. When it died, I ordered another one, and while that one, then I sent away the dead one, and they replaced it. So the replacement that came back in as an RMA is now in my gaming computer. It's not quite as powerful as I'd like, but it works, and it's in there, and it'll stay there. I don't plan on doing anything else to it anytime soon. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way that one looks. It's going to look real nice on a shelf. That's kind of the whole point. I wanted to make that one. That's where the designing started instead of just functionality. It was like, well, I can afford the parts and I got a little bit left over, so I should spend some money to make it look nice. And that one is going to stay whenever we move. And again, I don't have just all of my stuff in one small area when we are kind of spread out. The living room where I play on Xbox and PlayStation and Switch, whatnot, I will also be able to play PC games there, and it'll look nice on a shelf. Because that's, I'd rather have it blend in with the consoles and not just look like somebody built the budget PC and just stuck it there. So I spent a little bit more. Really happy with it. I'm glad how everything turned out. This probably will be at the end of the video after some of the footage with that stuff spliced in. I don't know. We'll see how it comes together. I won't be editing it today, so it won't matter. If I start thinking about how it needs to function, how it comes together in the edit, it won't make a difference because I won't see it until a while from now when I'm actually editing, which is what I'm about to go start doing now. That probably sounds gross on the lav. Why did I do that while drinking? Okay. Anyway, that was this weekend. I had a good time. I made a lot of fun things. Computers and stuff. It was a good time. I'm happy about it. I'm excited to play actual games on it because all I've done is download them. I did not have time last night. But I had to get the work computer set up for work because although I don't work on Monday, I do work on Tuesday. And so it's got to be ready to go. And now that Windows 11 is installed, I'm going to go buy a license for it, which is expensive. I planned for it. I don't know why. That was part of the budget. It's not like it came up later and I went, oops, I forgot. No, I know what I'm doing somewhat. Okay, bye. All right, a real quick thing to tack on to the end of the video here. It's a lot later in the day than I expected it to be. It took a much longer time to get the work computer set up. I had a lot of problems with apps that wouldn't install and just a whole thing. And then it was editing, and I got into editing and edited for about 4 hours, and now it's 2 in the afternoon, and I meant to be already worked out and done and playing video games or watching Last of Us because there's a new episode out. Anyway, the point is, since it's rendering here and I'm knocking things over, it was smooth. The 3090 is a beast, which makes sense because I went from something that had 8 gigs of VRAM to 24 gigs of VRAM, and I didn't throw everything I had at it, but it handled it no problem. Like, I did not have to cache beforehand. I had no buffering time. It is flying through the render compared to what it was before. This is fantastic. Instantly, from the first time I use it, I wish I'd had it the whole time. I wish I could have afforded to get it in the first place when I first started editing videos, because that is fantastic. So, good stuff. Really happy. I can get on with the rest of my day. I got a bunch of stuff to do, like laundry and prepping my foods and other things, and I'm working out currently, and I just thought, oh, real quick, an update. Good stuff.